There's a lot to see in Auriga, including at least 7 emission and reflection nebulas and 3 Messier open clusters. Some of these are grouped close enough to make for very nice compositions in wider field scopes, while others look great at longer focal lengths. Whether you're using hydrogen alpha filters on the nebulas or UV IR cut filters on the star clusters, you'll find plenty of imaging targets from your backyard. My name is Chris, and welcome to my channel. Auriga, meaning the driver in Latin, was one of the 48 constellations listed by Ptolemy, the 2nd century Alexandrian mathematician and astronomer. In Greek mythology, Auriga relates to a number of charioteering heroes, including Erichthonius of Athens, the son of Hephaestus, raised by the goddess Athena and credited with the invention of the 4-horse chariot. Myrtilus, son of Hermes, the charioteer of Oenomaus. And Phaeton, son of Helios, who crashed his father's chariot. The important thing here is that the Greeks were really fond of chariots. Here is my modern interpretation, represented by my first 4-cylinder chariot, also named after a figure from Greek mythology, the 1982 Dodge Aries station wagon. Today, Auriga continues to be one of the 88 modern constellations. It is a northern constellation best viewed in the winter, making it perfect for viewing and imaging right now. The weather continues to be uncooperative, limiting my detailed observations and imaging sessions to a handful of objects. But I did have one fairly clear night which happened to coincide with the height of the Leonid meteor shower. I said Leonid. I'm pretty sure most of those streaks were airplanes. Auriga has many great observable features, including its most famous star, the spectroscopic binary Capella. Capella is a G-type binary star with a G or F-type twin. Together, they form the 6th brightest object in the night sky. Looking towards the lower right region of Auriga, we see a rich field of objects, which can be imaged from your backyard. I took this image using a Rokinon or Samyang 135mm lens, an SVBony 220 dual band filter, and an ASI294MC Pro one-shot color camera over the course of one night. My Rokinon lens was mounted on top of my Celestron 6SE, running on the NexStar mount with a wedge. The total integration time was 6 hours and 27 minutes at 240 gain. In this wider field image, we can make out quite a few of those really cool objects. We have Index Catalog 405, or Sharpless 2 229, the Flaming Star Nebula, which is a magnitude 6 emission and reflection nebula, some 1,500 light-years away. It is 5 light-years across, measuring 37 by 19 arc-minutes. In close proximity, we have IC417, the Spider Nebula, also known as Sharpless 2 234. It's a hydrogen 2 region, 7,000 light-years away, measuring 26 light-years across, with an apparent size of 12 by 12 arc-minutes. This small nebula, besides the Spider Nebula, is a reflection nebula known as Sharpless 2 237, or NGC 1931. Its apparent magnitude is 10. It's 7,000 light-years away and has an apparent diameter of 3 arc-minutes. And then up in this corner, we have a set of 4 hydrogen nebulas, of which we can only make out 3 in this image. The 4th, Sharpless 2 233, being too faint to see. The first in the top left, which to me looks like the Death Star, is Sharpless 2 232. Next to it, and quite bright, is Sharpless 2 235. And the fainter nebula further to the right is Sharpless 2 231. From my reading, this hydrogen alpha region seems to be 5,900 light-years away. And then way up in the corner of the image, we have this small but bright nebula. This is SharplessII228. It is an Emission Nebula, somewhat between 11,000 and 26,000 light-years away. Now, since the weather wasn't really cooperating, I took the opportunity to image some of the Messier open clusters. Since I wasn't going to spend too much time on them, I wasn't looking for full clear nights. Here's what I was able to capture with my Celestron 6SE mounted on a wedge, using the NexStar mount. I was imaging using an f6.3 focal reducer, a UV IR cut filter, and an ASI294MC Pro one-shot color camera. I should mention that I was also able to use my Nikon camera to capture the wide-angle shots of the entire constellation. I had my Nikon camera sitting on my Piggyback mount, the same Piggyback mount that I use with the Rokinon lens. I was able to image 3 Messier open clusters. Here we have M38, also known as the Starfish Cluster, whose earliest discovery seems to go to Giovanni Battista Hodierna, who was cataloging comets in the 17th century, some 100 years before Messier. M38 lies 3,400 light-years away, and its apparent size is 21 arc-minutes. It has an apparent magnitude of 7.4 and is 13 light-years across. This was my longest capture of all 3 clusters at 1 hour and 30 minutes of integration time. Here we have M36, also discovered by Giovanni Battista Hodierna. It lies 4,300 light-years away and has an apparent size of 12 arc-minutes and an apparent magnitude of 6.3. I spent 33 minutes on this cluster. And then here, slightly outside of the bounds of Auriga, we have M37, which was also discovered by Giovanni Battista Hodierna. It is 4,500 light-years away and has a size of 24 arc-minutes. Its apparent magnitude is 6.2, and it lies 10 to 13 light-years across. This image represents 27 minutes of integration time. Besides the clusters, I was able to use my Celestron 6SE, this time with the SVBony dual-band filter, to capture Nebula IC410. Within IC410, also known as the Tadpoles Nebula, resides NGC 1893, which is an open cluster. This star cluster and hydrogen-2 region lie 12,400 light-years away, with an apparent magnitude of 7.5 and an apparent dimension of 11 arc-minutes. You can make out these 2 really cool tadpole-looking nebulae in the top left-hand corner. After processing, the total integration time I had for this nebula was 3 hours. I would like to revisit Auriga. I'd like to capture the Flame Nebula as well as the Spider Nebula. And I'd like to spend some time with the hydrogen-2 Death Star region in the top left-hand corner. If I can image these objects from my Bortle backyard, then so can you. And there's plenty here to see. I hope you found this video useful, and as always, thanks for watching, and clear skies.